Tell us a little bit about what you saw and being able to relay that message to Cora when you watched Kimbrel pitch and kind of help out so he wasn't tipping his pitches.
So tipping pitches, we hear about it all the time.
People at home understand what tipping pitches is all about.
It's amazing.
And that's remarkable.
Alex, there's no need for a cold open this week. There's no need for a question. There's no need for a bad take dramatic reading. There is no need for an overworked joke from yours truly. Do you know why?
Why is that?
Because this is a loaded podcast.
Yeah, it is.
5-person pod featuring all 3 of the wonderful members of Batting Around. Alex, it's the dumbest things of the 2022 baseball season. I have been looking forward to this podcast all year.
It's really why we slog through the previous 6 months, is
right,
to get
exactly.
to this moment.
It's like, it's not about how you perform in May.
Exactly.
It's about how you pod in November.
It's all about momentum, and we got it with this one.
I think everyone is going to really enjoy this podcast. If you didn't listen to last year's episode, the dumbest things of the 2021 baseball season, I'd say it's still funny and it's still evergreen.
Yes.
It'll be a blast from the past for a lot of you. And it'll also set the tone for what this podcast is about. But just in case you don't have time to go listen to that, or you did listen to it, but you've forgotten what it is, we've gathered Stephen Hesson, Lauren Walker, and Jane Ost from the Batting Around podcast, which I imagine many of you already listened to, just to talk about, to go around in a circle and discuss and remember just the silliest things that happened in the year. Just the most ridiculous, the most online, the most absurd things that happened in the Major League Baseball season.
Of course, we had to tap the counterpart to our extremely online baseball podcast. We really couldn't do this without those 3, and it's a great exercise to remember some of these moments, because some of them I had completely forgotten.
And they deserve to be remembered.
They do.
Just
they
as
deserve
much
to be memorialized.
as the Houston Astros deserve to be remembered for winning the 2022 World Series.
Absolutely.
Maybe more so,
Yeah.
frankly. Honestly, the baseball is not that important. It's all about the content.
Content flies forever, man.
Content is king. Or queen, doesn't really matter. Okay, without further ado, we are going to bring in our friends from Batting Around. But before we do all of that, I am Bobby Wagner.
I am Alex Baisley.
And you're listening to Tipping Pitches. Okay, we are once again joined by our good friends at Batting Around. It's Tipping Around. It's a baseball podcast. It's a leftist baseball podcast. Stephen, I'm going to start with you, man. What's up? How are you feeling? We're recording on the morning of Game 6 of the World Series. How you doing?
Pretty good.
A pregnant pause.
Yeah. As I was saying earlier, I've achieved a level of zen that I was completely not expecting at all. I am the sort of fan that catastrophizes, that gets really up into his feelings. When there's a really big gut punch loss to a team I hate in the past,
like that?
I would soak myself in in all the revelatory messages that the opposing fans were sending on Twitter and Reddit, and I would just look at them and get angry.
Dark.
And yeah, I'm really emotionally well adjusted. But actually, that's true right now. I'm keeping the perspective. My lowest point this entire postseason was the final out of Game 5, and then 10 minutes later, I was like, I don't want to be sad anymore. Let's look at the positives. And then I kind of tricked myself into being optimistic. It's very weird. It's very out of character for me. I don't know what's going on. I think I might have been possessed by a ghost or something.
I love that for you. Although that is the last mention of the World Series that is currently going on, because we are doing the dumbest things that happened in baseball 2022. Lauren, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I had a lot of fun doing some research for this, looking back at how wonderfully dumb this season has been.
You really when I think back on it, I'm like, okay, how dumb was it really, right? I think I memory hole so many things, and then I start looking through our fucking old tweets and old episodes, and I'm like, wow, there really was some dumb stuff here. There's a lot of content to mine.
Yeah, it's the majesty of the 162 game season is something dumb happens in every single one of them.
Exactly.
Well, this is this is the thing that I love most about doing this, because it's like, it kind of is like a thesis statement for basically both of our podcasts, right? Like, this is a highlight reel of the stuff that we talk about most frequently. Jane, how are you doing? How are you feeling about the 2022 baseball season, the dumb things that happened within it?
Great. I still feel like last year was dumber in some ways. We'll see how I feel at the end of this. But also, Bobby, I want to congratulate you on doing a great intro there. You did the intro to our podcast better than Lauren or Stephen have when they've attempted recently. Really good job there.
I'm just a pro.
Good.
You know, I've been at it for a while.
You know, you and me, we're cut from the same cloth. We can do an intro without fucking it up. Yeah.
Some people have it and some people don't, you know?
And you know, for this episode also, I just want to say we'll try to say come less than we did last time.
Well, you bringing up last year gives me an opportunity to do a quick summary of the first round of last year's drafts, just so that the uninitiated, the folks who maybe weren't listening to Tipping Pitches this time last year, maybe missed that episode for some reason, you can still go back and listen to it. It's very evergreen and very entertaining. I was listening to it this morning to put together this summary. The first round of selections was Stephen selecting the Will Craig and Javi Baez play that completely broke Will Craig's career. Sorry to Will Craig. Lauren selected the Madison Bumgarner no-hitter, which was not actually a no-hitter because it was 7 innings. Jane, you selected the $100 million All-Star Game lawsuit from Major League Baseball to Major League Baseball from the Collective Businesses of Atlanta. And Alex and I selected Pete Alonso bopping his head while a kid tore his ACL and was carried off the field during the home run
That
derby.
ruled. God, I love him. That was so good.
What a ridiculous year last year was.
Yeah.
It was quite a ridiculous year. And of course, it was, tinged with the energy that it was the first time that we were ever doing this segment. Before we start drafting, Alex, how are you feeling about the dumbest things that happened in 2022? Do you think that the Tipping Pitches podcast this year has been a nice testament to these things? Have we kept a nice running diary?
I think we have, and I mean, you can see I'm wearing my A's gear, right? I figured for the podcast about the dumbest things that happened in 2022, I had to represent the dumbest team that existed in this year of baseball. So, but again, kind of like Stephen, I'm feeling at peace right now. I mean, I'm on the other end of the spectrum because we didn't even sniff the postseason. But
what was the date of the year where you were like, A's not making the postseason? I can say with 100% certainty.
Like May. Yeah,
It's that late.
Yeah, that's
kind of late. I know, that actually is kind of late. Honestly, look at their lineup.
I was thinking the second
April 9th.
spring training
Mid-spring
started,
training.
the delayed spring training started. Yeah.
No, I think I want to meet the fan who really believed in that team all the way up until the blowjob incident.
Come on,
Was like, you know what? There's still
Spoilers.
No picks before the picks. All right, I feel like we should just get into it then. We're letting shit leak out. Jane, you want to kick us off this year?
Yeah, because what I was gonna do, thanks Lauren, is I was gonna segue from Alex's thing there to talk about the infestations in Oakland of cats and public sex in the Coliseum.
Thankfully, not the same.
Yeah, that's the only. But there's probably a lot of cat sex happening there too. I know I said I wouldn't say cum as much, but then I immediately start talking about cat sex on your podcast. But yeah, that was great. The Oakland Coliseum. Just there's no fans there, so it just becomes full of cats, too many cats, and then of course a couple having public sex up in the top row of the stands there.
Do we know? Did the Oakland PD ever get to the bottom of that? I know that they were really training all their resources on it.
They were dedicating a lot of manpower to it.
No, I did follow up and try to research that a little bit, and they have not. They said they're still investigating, but as of the last report, I think a couple weeks ago, they have not caught them.
They're still investigating the video of two 29-year-olds having sex in the stands.
Yeah.
They're like, we need to watch this one more time just to make sure we've got all the details.
I did appreciate the fans going up to that segment with posters that said, these seats suck, keep your head in the game, just blow it. That was good.
God.
That's
What
respect to
heroes.
A's fans. That's respect to A's fans.
Yeah.
I mean,
heroes.
the Oakland A's remain defeated, but A's fans remain undefeated. I just want to point that out.
Mhm.
It is such a wild disparity in quality of organization versus fan base.
Okay, Lauren, what's up for you?
Oh God, there were so many good ones this year. I kind of want to. I don't want to hit this one first, but there was this great little moment in, I think it was around like August, September, where we all kind of realized that the Bernie Brewster slide is kind of a death trap. Is kind of like an Adventureland-esque theme park, like danger zone. First, it was Rae's reporter Trisha Whitaker of Bally Sports Sun, who went down the slide too fast and cracked into the padding with her face. And then
I don't even know that I heard about that one.
Yeah, that one was less on the radar than the big one, which was
just another example of a woman being overshadowed by the actions of a man.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the guy doing it was a lot funnier. The two videos are both good, but his is great. It's David Vasse, I think, on the Dodgers broadcast booth. Goes down the slide screaming, "Holy crap! Holy crap! Holy crap!" the whole time.
like he's on the suicide roller coaster.
I mean, it is. He a little bit is. He smacks into the wall hard enough that he cracks 6 ribs and breaks his wrist in 2 places.
No, but the craziest part is that when they were telling everybody about this and showing the video, he was like on the broadcast, and they were making it seem like he was fine, and he wasn't fine. He broke his arm in 6 ribs.
They were laughing at him. He was fucked up.
They were laughing so hard.
And he went back to the game after going to the orthopedics office to call them to go be there for like the last 4 innings. But the best part isn't even that. The best part is the game itself is a 2-1 walk-off victory with Austin Barnes saying his home run in the 9th was for David. The team rallied for him. It doesn't get better than that.
That rules.
So good.
We need more death traps at Major League ballparks. That's my take.
Well, I think it's like a Disneyland thing, where like we don't hear about the injuries, because you could, as a fan, you can take a tour of the stadium and go down the slide up to 5 times.
Well,
and they're just not telling people.
There was the kid that got his head stuck in the Wade Boggs statue at Tampa Bay. So like we've got at least 2 death traps.
I mean, I think that Rae's tank is also probably like there's probably a couple
the
kids
Rae's tank, yeah.
lost a limb in there.
We should actually electrify the touch tank.
Shea Bridge at Citi Field. If you step on the wrong spot, it just breaks in half and you fall through.
Yeah,
just gotta be careful.
What's the park that has like the gum thing? There's a park with like the disgusting gum wall.
Well, that's just in Seattle.
Yeah.
That's just like a thing in Seattle. It's so gross. It's one of the grossest things I've ever seen in my life.
That's a biohazard. Yeah, that counts.
It is.
That's like Adventureland shit. Yeah.
Yeah. People touch it. People lick it.
Ugh.
Like, on a dare. It's foul.
I'm good.
So
yeah,
gross.
I'm good.
Jesus.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Stephen, what is your first selection and the dumbest thing that happened in baseball in 2022?
So, we've got public sex. We've got work injuries. I want to round out batting around's first 3 picks with an accusation of murder. Specifically, Ben Verlander.
Yes.
Ben Verlander could have a whole episode for this bit.
Yeah, you could.
In defense of Barry Bonds and the whole morality clause of the Hall of Fame, Ben Verlander decided to accuse Babe Ruth of setting his poor wife Helen on fire.
Poor wife Helen.
Actually, I just need to read the whole tweet because it is probably the funniest baseball tweet of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree.
Woke up thinking about how Babe Ruth set his poor wife Helen on fire, yet the moral gatekeepers are keeping Barry Bonds, the greatest hitter of all time, out of the Hall of Fame.
You literally could not win the Nobel Prize for Literature writing fiction better than that. Like, it's so good.
My favorite was part 2, his reply to it, which is just allegedly. Like just tossing that one in there.
He says, I have to cover my ass here. It's like
exactly.
on our show last week when we were just like, this is non-actionable. This is parody.
This is what we do every week.
Parody defense. Parody. Everything under this brand is parody. Now, henceforth to the end of time. For any lawyers listening. What a tremendous selection. Tremendous.
It is.
I'll never forget when we were on the Tipping Pitches live stream and half the people didn't know that existed, and we got the pleasure of showing people that tweet.
Being able to share shit like that with people who haven't gotten it yet is a gift.
We got to do that on our show. Who is it that we got to tell about that? That was wonderful. I don't remember right now, but we definitely got to do that.
I had a friend over to watch Game 3 of the World Series which the Philadelphia Phillies are playing in. And she is not very online and did not know the Nick Castellanos meme. So I got to do a dramatic retelling of it between commercial breaks.
I saw a
very
picture
good.
that had been taken of you doing
yeah,
that. Somebody
my
at
friend.
that, at that.
That is like
picture
one of those
you.
baseball stories that is leaked into Normie World a bit. I've had multiple people be like, I watch a lot of baseball. I watch baseball podcasts, and they're always like, "Oh yeah, what's the Castellini, Castellano? What's that?"
Castellini's a different thing.
So
Yeah,
then what, Stephen, what did your friend think that you went for as Halloween last year?
I didn't know her last year. She's a new friend.
Okay.
You would have just been baseball player. Yeah.
For the
no.
listeners who don't...
He's when he was doing the comment. He's the commentator. He wasn't the ball player. He's
Yeah, I went as Tom Brenneman
as
last
Brenneman,
year. And a lot of the people who had
Inspired.
no idea what the hell it was, I was just like, oh yeah, he's a baseball broadcaster that said the F slur and then got fired. And they're like, and then they were like,
Why are you dressed
why
as
would
that?
you do
Why?
that?
Well, I'm curious what.
Yeah, this is my Michael Richards costume.
I mean,
Like, how did that manifest itself? Because I just have an image of him wearing like a white shirt and like a pink tie or something. Like,
that,
were there
silvery
accoutrements
shirt.
that
Yeah,
you were
is
at?
it like the
were
can- were the
you
cans?
going around?
so he was
Yeah.
wearing
Cans,
a bluish tie with some sort of diagonal pattern, and I kind of had a blue tie with a diagonal pattern. It wasn't exact, but it was like close enough.
Mhm.
And I just wore a dress shirt. I sprayed my hair silver,
Mhm.
and then I wore a headset.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
it.
That's
Really,
good.
It
I mean,
works.
we're both
It
white
works.
guys. Oh, and I fucking shaved my face,
Yes, you
Mm.
did.
which
commitment.
I do not look good with a clean shaven face.
That's where I'm at
So
right
that
now.
was-
I'm
that was a
recovering from the goose from Top Gun mustache that I had this year. So
Oh,
letting the rest of the beard go
nice.
back in, but the mustache is still longer. I mean,
That's
look,
good look. It looks good.
we dress up. We dress up as Michael Myers. We dress up as Freddy. You just dress up as Tom Brenneman. He's like the Freddy of baseball announcers.
Yeah.
Okay, it is up to us. I would like to do a prelude to our pick by saying that the dumbest thing that happened to tipping pitches in 2022 was literally Alex Baisley right there on this call right now. Alex Baisley taking a photo with A's owner John Fisher while
Yeah.
wearing a shirt that said "Steal bases, not wages."
Uh-huh.
That was the dumbest thing that happened to tipping pitches in 2022. And it started a whole like little controversy on A's Twitter about how John Fisher is tone deaf and doesn't understand the fans just because Alex decided to take a sarcastic photo. The precursor to the Pirates fan doing the same thing with Bob Nutting a couple weeks later. But I'll let you do the honors for our first official pick in the dumbest thing that happened in 2022.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, lots of Oakland A's representation here early on in this draft because I would like to submit for consideration Oakland A's president Dave Kaval's Twitter meltdown over the A's attendance woes in the middle of the season.
Forgot about that.
Mhm.
I really did too, because he disappeared pretty much right after it. He kind of melted down. He corncobbed his way offline, and it was a remarkable saga, like a days long kind of back and forth with Twitter users about how the Giants pull more attendance than the A's do. He was like getting into an argument with like someone who's like cosplaying as like a seagull online, saying like you're literally a seagull, and it's like you're literally paid millions of dollars. Like you don't have to be here.
It's like when people get into fights with birds' rights activists and it's just like, look at yourself, man. Come on.
It was simultaneously the low point of my season and the high point of my season. I was like, it doesn't get any better than this.
I mean, I would just like to shout out Dave Kaval for giving us an entire hour's worth of content on the podcast. If you think about it, he really did it for the content creators.
He really did.
He wasn't thinking about himself. He was going out there and he was falling on the sword for us. Do you think, so you said that he disappeared off Twitter after this. Do you think that he disappeared or that they disappeared him? Do you think that they were like, a condition of your employment going forward is that you don't tweet at seagulls?
The thing is, I don't think they know or care, right? I think they let him off the leash and he just does his own thing.
Does Billy Bean have a Twitter?
No.
It would just be like Euro soccer stuff if he did.
Do you think he has a burner?
Probably. He feels like a relatively online guy to me,
Yeah.
regrettably.
If he does, the avatar is 100% Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
yeah.
I mean, I would if
Yeah,
you know,
if Brad Pitt
But
Like
like
in
not
the
Brad
movie,
Pitt
yeah.
from that movie. Brad Pitt
Just
from
a
a different
regular
Yeah,
Brad
it's-
Pitt. Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
but from the part where he's holding the spear gun. Yeah.
Or is it like he has the can that he like throws at the intruder? Can of beans or whatever.
It's Brad Pitt in that movie where he's doing the Jamaican patois.
Oh god.
I would like to task the Tipping Pitches listeners with uncovering Billy Bean's burner. That is my homework for everybody.
Yeah, you
listening
gotta
to this
do the
podcast.
Ashley Feinberg type
Yes.
detective work and figure out who it is. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay. It slingshots all the way back around to you, Jane. You're up.
Okay. This is tough. I have so many I want to go through, but since we already talked about Ben Verlander, I want to do my other Ben Verlander one. About how Ben Verlander is the most revered man in all of Japan.
We had this on our list
Yes.
too.
About how he went to Japan and everyone was so in awe of him. They were like, "Oh wow, you're totally a revered and important figure and not just a nepotism hire." Wow. So then they're bowing for him and doing all of those Orientalist stereotypes. Just incredible. They're like, running away from the Shohei Ohtani shrine or whatever to go bow at the feet of Ben Verlander's son. Yes.
And the fact that profile was written by none other than Bob Nightingale, like that is a whole other wrinkle to this. Like, how is he involved in everything? I don't understand
Amazing.
it.
Baseball
Really
Forrest Gump.
wonderful moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben Verlander saw Last Samurai and he was like, "Hey, listen, they made some points." Okay, Lauren, you're up.
Oh God. I'm gonna go with one of my favorite little stories. The
Okay.
one that was almost a non-entity that like no one really wanted to do it. No one really wanted to talk about it, but the thing that happened, so they had to talk about it. It's a great example of how the baseball journalism industry is just like built on a certain kind of churn, and you put even a little fuel in there, and the engine's gonna go. Cabrian Hayes ate sunflower seeds.
Mm.
Do you guys remember this at all? Was this like?
Oh, yes.
This is
Yeah.
barely
No,
what
I
remember.
didn't until I read your notes and I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah, it was a game against the Mets. Ball gets hit into right field. Runner's coming around third, going home, and the camera following the runner catches Cabrian Hayes at third base, pulling a couple sunflower seeds out of his back pocket into his mouth. And immediately the team was just like, "No, we don't care. It doesn't matter. He doesn't care. We thought he was a little far off from the base where he should have been. We wanted to come over there." And like there was clearly like if this was 10 years ago. And if it wasn't the Pirates, if it was like the Mets or the Yankees, this would have been a story for weeks about how like he doesn't care, he's not invested. Oh, the $70 million man is getting paid all this money to play, and he's
I
eating
want
on
to
the
hear
field.
that K-fan call so bad. Like calling into Mike and yelling about that. Oh God, that would rule.
It'd be great, but this couldn't be sustained. Like maybe
Yeah.
it cost him a Gold Glove nomination. Like that was like the only speculation I could see from anyone about this. But like, not even like Fox News got mad about this. I actually went and looked at the comments on the Fox News article about this, and my favorite comment is from a guy named I Love America 025, and it's all he says is, "Well, they do have some delicious flavors now."
They do.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when they first came out with the ranch ones, and it was like, holy shit, this is
This
is
changes the
incredible.
game.
This changes
Yeah.
the game, and now there's everything. Yeah,
God, that is such a guy. You found such a guy.
that's a great
I'm
one.
thinking about
That's
the
actually that's
flavors.
Billy Bean's burner right there.
No, guys, that's actually me. That's actually me.
Mhm.
Talking about how the barbecue flavor is not good, the pickle flavor is delicious, the ranch flavor is underrated.
There you go.
No, I think you're wrong on all of those.
I appreciate that SNY kind of like tried to turn it into
Yeah.
a controversy. Like it wasn't even their shit to like
Yeah.
deal
Yeah.
with.
It
They're
wasn't
the
even
ones who made any effort. Yeah, they asked the
Right.
questions. They ran
not
the
just
story.
SNY. It was like Todd Zeal's pet project for like
Yeah.
48
exactly.
hours. He like cut together the story and he's like, "Hey guys, listen, check this out. Just throwing a little sunflower seeds in, and like if you just pan right, you'll see that the ball is still in right field. Like it's not
Yeah.
a big deal."
But he's like Charlie and It's Always Sunny, cigarette hanging out of his mouth, like trying to piece together how this happened.
And it's just a balloon that's like deflating, and like no one can sustain this or even be made to care.
Yeah,
It's great.
Yeah. I kind of want to hear the callers. If that was Eduardo Escobar,
Oh,
it would have been an
God.
entirely different thing. Just an
Oh my
entirely
god.
different thing.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately, Brian Hayes didn't get nominated for a Gold Glove because of this, because they actually nominated Juan Soto at third and right field instead. So
Yeah, it is worth noting he was like incredible defensively. Like I think he's led the league in DRS and outs above average.
yeah, he's like new Matt Chapman. He also can't hit.
Yeah,
You know. Sorry to Matt Chapman.
but at least he has some nice little snacks for it to keep his game going.
Exactly. It's the Pirates. Like, what else are you going to do? You got to.
Yeah. Brian
Well,
can have
accoutrement,
the little
like-
sunflower seeds.
It's kind of a throwback to the guys that would have like the little bottle of cocaine or their pockets full of greenies.
Exactly. Yeah,
like
and
Paul
at least
Molitor and stuff.
At least
yeah.
it's not like Chaw. Like
Yeah,
that's so much. So it's so much nicer than another guy like with a big wad of tobacco in his mouth.
They should just let him smoke on the base paths.
The Phillies would be unbeatable if they let
Yeah.
them smoke heaters
yeah.
on base. It's so
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually one of my favorite throwaway headlines that I came across when I was going through the season. I was looking through some old Defector articles, and it was right at the peak of the Judge Maris home run. Like, who's better? And the headline was just like, I'm going to give it to the smoker.
Yeah.
Okay, Steven, you're up next.
Oh God, I am really torn between two that are both very important to batting around specifically.
I love how, before you make your choice, I just love how all of us are like treating this like it's some act of scholarship. Like you're all, before you make the picks, we're all like,
This is the most
"Man,
important
there's
thing that's ever
17
happened."
different things that were tied for first that I could be choosing right now.
Yeah.
I just love it. Great work by
You're like
everybody.
doing Z scores, seeing how many standard
I
deviations
literally have a
above,
spreadsheet.
like dumb.
I quite literally have a spreadsheet that I'm ordering these things in, and I'm looking at it.
This
I'm
is
like,
why you guys are
Yeah.
here. This is
We're-
why you guys are here.
We're pros.
Ooh.
We're pros. Yeah.
Steven,
We're
okay.
great game. Act like you've been here before. Yeah.
I know that Jane and Lauren will both pick both of these eventually. I do want to talk. All right, let's keep on the A's train because this is all A's all day today. A very monumental thing in the history of batting around happened on April 11th, 2022. And that is Sean Murphy got hit in the butt by a baseball.
Yes.
Good one.
That
Yeah.
was very
And-
important for us.
I, at that time, was seeing a movie. There's a really cool venue in my neighborhood that does like weird, extremely low budget, shitty movies every first Monday of the month. And it was a blast. The movie I watched was a catastrophe in all the best ways, and I was like getting drunk at it. It was amazing. And I happened, because the movie was bad, I was checking my phone during it because I was starting to get a little bored. And I checked my phone, and all of a sudden, I had like dozens of mentions, a few texts, and I'm like, did someone die? What happened?
Mhm.
And then I checked, and it was a baseball player with a gigantic dump truck ass got hit by a pitch in the exact perfect place to make that ass jiggle.
And there's
And
a
then he
slow motion
threw it
gif.
back a little bit,
He did throw it
like
back.
he was he
Yeah.
was twerking.
Yep, he
Mhm.
twerked it. Yep.
And all of it was captured in glorious GIF form.
Yeah.
And it took the internet ablaze. People who don't watch baseball at all were sending me this. It took the internet by storm. It was beautiful. And then it eventually became our new logo
Allegedly,
for our podcast.
maybe,
Allegedly.
maybe.
It inspired the artist's rendering of our future logo, which was
Yes.
all made as our own intellectual property.
Yes, exactly.
Thank God for 1080p, right? Because that just
Yes.
made everything so much better. This is
Yeah.
when we
Yeah.
advance technology for moments like this.
Imagine
When they
how
say
many
caught
times
your
that
ass
must
in
have happened.
4K.
Yeah. Imagine all the years where that happened, and we had like all you had was like
We
the
didn't see
shitty
the little
like,
ripple.
broadcast quality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like in the old timey days when the camera was always like behind home plate looking out. Like we could have missed like dozens of incredible bounces off of Babe Ruth's ass.
Right. And we used to,
Mhm.
I mean, they used to wear pants so much tighter too. So like that's even
Yeah.
more opportunity to see the ripple. And we just missed them
Yeah.
all. We just missed them all.
Incredible.
But this one made up for it. Sean Murphy, thank you for doing a service for all
You're
of
a
the
hero.
past asses that have been jiggled with pitches.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's our turn, Alex. Someone briefly mentioned the pick that we're going to take, which is Aaron Judge's home run chase. Just the whole fucking thing.
The whole
all
thing.
of it.
Mhm.
The whole damn thing. All of the controversy about pitching around him, about how each pitcher was too cowardly, too afraid to throw him a strike. It's like, yeah, you
Teams
should.
in a playoff race, like still like also competing for a playoff spot. We're supposed to just like throw him
Walking
some
him-
meatballs.
They're
like,
walking him
yeah.
on like 3-2 also.
Yeah.
You know, like it wasn't
Yeah.
like they were just intentionally walking him
No,
every time.
if you
They're
looked at the
pitching
heat
around.
maps, yeah.
Yeah. They're pitching around the best hitter in the lineup who has no protection after him. Welcome to Mike Trout's entire career. Like,
Yeah.
and everybody losing their mind over it. We get the bonus choice in here, like a bonus little throw-in side dish of Apple TV Plus discourse about who was going to get to broadcast the home run, and
That's fine.
how the Yes Network, how Michael K wasn't going to get to memorialize my shitty ass Michael K wasn't going to get to memorialize this call. All for nothing because he still didn't even hit the home run for another like 10 days after all of the discourse happened.
Yeah.
In the most strict sense of the term, it was the dumbest thing that happened in baseball in 2022. Not even in a
Also-
fun way, just the dumbest way.
Also, I'm so glad that it's over and Roger Maris's kids Roger Maris Jr.'s
Exactly.
kids got to see him again. Like he
That
he
was
was
that
gone
was
way
the
too
worst
irritating
long.
around the
possible
country.
outcome of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did not need to give him those 15 minutes of fame.
No,
No,
promoting
dude.
his awful like hunting wear brand or fishing hats and shit. Holy shit! Do you ever look at those?
They're
Ugly
so
as
Yeah,
sin.
they're awful.
Awful.
Those like 10 days where everyone felt the need to quote tweet everything he said and be like, no, I still affirm that the real record is Barry Bonds. Like, can we just not? Can we just
Yeah.
not?
No,
Yeah.
that was really the roughest stretch. Is that like 10-day period where he wasn't hitting the homer, but it was like about to, and every single at bat. And it's like it was like the whole country was just like edging on over this. It was exhausting.
Mhm.
We tried to avoid talking about it as much as possible, Alex, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, because it's amazing. Aaron Judge having such a good year. We can enjoy that on its own merits and not give a shit about the record or the discourse or the narrative around it. Like it can exist on its own terms without having to be like, and again, as Jane mentioned, right, it happens amidst the Yankees kind of they're in a free fall in like, kind of August and early September, and then they're vying for a playoff spot. And I'm like, there's so many more important things that we can be talking about right now
Right.
than what the actual record is.
Mhm.
I don't care.
I could be
I really don't.
spending our emotional energy on making fun of Josh Donaldson. And yet we're spending
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
on making fun of Roger Maris Jr., who never even played baseball. Like, what are we doing?
No, I think really the part that I hated the most about the whole discourse is it also kind of spurred on the Shohei versus Judge MVP
Oh.
conversation,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
is just agonizing. And it just went on for ages.
It's still and like we still haven't gotten resolution on it
No.
as of this recording anyway.
You
Fucking
can't-
awful.
You couldn't pay me enough to share my opinion on who should actually win MVP. Like, literally. You had to give me the Bob Nightingale salary. USA Today.
Yeah.
However much they pay that guy.
What if I write an article about how everyone in Southwest, like Asia, like somewhere, just some country. I'm not going to do Japan because that's Ben Verlander's territory. But I'll write an article about how everybody in Indonesia is just.
They
in
come
love
up to
with
me,
you.
they shake my hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're the voice of the people.
All right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, Jane, we're back to you. So last time we did 3 selections and then a speed round. So this will be our last
Okay.
final,
Oh,
Okay.
our last full pick, and
Yeah,
then
no
for
pressure.
anything else that doesn't get taken, we can kind of speed round the end here. So,
Okay, no question.
back
Then
to
I
you.
have to do Canada repealing its vaccine policy.
good.
Totally cowardly. After a whole season of really stupid shit with players refusing to get vaccinated to go play in Canada, which we talked about at length on our show and our players to be shamed
Yeah.
later.
That was really
segments.
like our beat more than anybody else in the media.
Yeah, I think
absolutely.
so.
You guys did a
Um,
great job of chronicling that.
Scholarship.
That's on Steven. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the MVP of that.
But then the Canadian government just goes, no, we're right at the end of the season, September 30th. You can come into the country now, no problem. Like, God, I don't know how much it would have affected the playoffs. I think there would have been a couple people, but like how that would have been
Robbie
great.
Ray.
Robbie Ray. Yeah.
That
That would have been great for them.
That would have been
It would have
pretty
helped them.
pivotal.
That would have been
Harris
an
in a much better
amazing
position.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now we get to see the harm that not having these vaccine mandates does. It lets Robbie Ray pitch in the postseason, and that's a huge problem. So
No, it was Banana Republic shit. Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, really.
Yeah,
Just
Trudeau had a
cowardly.
chance to do something so based and hold that up.
Yeah.
This is the thing.
And-
They stumble
and he
into
then-
things that are funny. Neoliberals. They stumble
Yeah.
into things that are good and funny, and then they take them away from us. This is just the whole neoliberal brand. Like Trudeau, he fucked us. He
Yeah.
fucked us.
Mhm.
I do want to take like this is I think Jane made the correct choice with all of the like of specifically Canada repealing this. But like can we just talk about generally this fucking experience of watching the Kansas City Royals
That was so funny.
go to Toronto with
14 guys down or
God.
whatever.
10,
Yeah.
10 people out, or
Incredible.
the Phillies going up there in the heat of a wild card race without like 3 of their best players.
Yeah.
Or fucking the Cardinals without like
16 war worth of guys.
Yeah, like
2 top 5
2
MVP
guys who are
finishers.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like, it was so
pour one
fucking
out
dumb.
for Whit Merrifield, who steadfastly refused to get the vaccine until he's traded to Toronto, and then immediately gets bounced from the playoffs. Like, dude is so mad.
Yeah, he's
Amazing.
like researching. He's like in the fringe right now, like Googling like how to get the vaccine taken out of your
Out of
body.
you.
I
Yeah.
think you know what
Yeah.
you know what I think he got a fake card. I think a lot of these guys got fake
Yeah.
cards. Honestly,
I think a lot of the Yankees got fake cards because there was all that drama
There
about
was
like
so
whether or
much.
not they'd be able to play in New York.
yeah.
And I know that those guys could literally go to anybody in New York, be like, "Hey, can I get a fake card?"
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "Oh, Mr. Aaron Judge, yes, sir,
Yes.
here."
I feel like we need like a real sleuth to get on like investigating the player girlfriends with Etsy accounts
Yeah.
to track down like who got those and who circulated them through the league, because that's
Yep.
definitely how it would have been done. I think
This is like when Peyton Manning's wife was getting like HGH shipped to her for something, and people were like, "Peyton Manning, he's on HGH," you know, like. I like to picture Whit Merrifield trying to get the vaccine taken out of him, like when you have to like downgrade your OS, you know, like you accidentally upgraded it to the wrong OS, and it takes you like 8 hours to figure out how to get back to the one that
It's
you
like
want.
when you have like a splinter and you're like sitting in the warm water trying to like push it out. You know,
Yeah.
you're like, the chip's almost there. It's almost there.
He's like Googling like where the world's largest electromagnet is to like try to pull the vaccine out of him. Yeah.
He's hiking the North Pole right now.
He's trying to get blasted with radiation, like go into space. Yeah.
I feel like we have these investigative journalists, right? These quote unquote investigative journalists in the baseball world. Where are they at when it comes to repealing the vaccine decision for Canada? Like, really, on September 30th, the day before October, the
Come
day
on.
before the
I
MLB
think it's
playoffs
so
are supposed
obvious
to start.
no one even bothered.
Oh, yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
obvious that the hands were greased, but that's a story. Evan
Yeah.
Drillick, where you at, brother? You've been on this
Yeah.
podcast. I'll call you out by name. Come on, let's do it. All right, Lauren, it's your turn.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm going to save this one of these for a speed round. I want to go into Major League Baseball admitting in court that Angel Hernandez is bad at his job.
That rules. So good. So good.
This might be
Yeah.
my personal favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, for context, Angel Hernandez sued MLB saying that he had not been assigned to a World Series game over the last 7 years because he is Cuban and because Joe Torre specifically hates him. MLB, he immediately lost the case. It was thrown out of the Southern District of New York's court because MLB simply pointed out with an extensive case file and document that is available to look up online that he is incredibly bad at his job. He is confrontational, unprofessional, and in one case, actively deceptive, and shows a complete lack of accountability and inability to move past his mistakes. Several funny things about this. First, it's great to know that umpires get performance reviews.
Yep.
From MLB.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Do we think those are 360? Like, do you think he gets to review Joe Torre?
Oh God, I hope so. That's
And
what I
as
really
much
want to
as-
see is what he thinks.
As
Yeah.
much as these guys think they're cops, they do not have qualified immunity, like completely either.
No,
so,
not at all.
Yeah.
No, I think the funniest story from this incident was that actively deceptive bit. I wrote this out in my notes.
Yeah.
It was this weird double switch game in against the Rays. Does anybody remember this like weird double switch game that he got like the call wrong on regarding like Kevin Cash did like these weird double switch things, like a couple at once, and then Hernandez goofed up the rules with it, and they had to go to review, and he was stubborn about like not breaking the rule. Anyway, after all of that, MLB was on a confidential phone call with one of the other umpires to get like what happened. And Angel Hernandez was eavesdropping on the conversation. And when the MLB representative caught him doing this, he lied about it, pretend he wasn't doing that. Anyway, that's why he doesn't get to call World Series games. Is he's a doofus, and they had to admit this in court.
And you know, as much as I get kind of annoyed with like, you know, the umpire audits and everyone complaining about umps all the time and the stupid fucking strike zone overlay. This one is awesome. Like
Worth
this
it.
one is
Yeah,
great.
it makes it all
Love
worth
it.
it.
Love
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic.
And to that point, I do think it's a postseason thing, but I do think it was really cool that Pat Hoberg called a perfect game in the postseason.
That rules.
That was
cool.
great.
That rocked.
Yeah.
Hoberg's the fucking goat. He's the best.
He's
Best
a
to ever
god.
do it.
Yeah,
Best
they should
to
just
ever
let
do
him
it.
call every game. Yeah.
Just
Well,
clone
I
him.
mean, that's the thing is like we've now seen what's possible, right? I'm like, if he can do it, there
a better
are others
world
who
is
can
out
do
there.
it.
A better world.
Exactly.
There's a great like Chad vs. Virgin setup in Pat Hoberg and Angel Hernandez.
Yeah.
It's just waiting to be done.
You guys remember when Angel Hernandez rung up Kyle Schwarber and Kyle Schwarber absolutely lost his fucking shit? That was awesome.
That was awesome.
That was so awesome.
And that was great too because the people in Philadelphia yelled at him on his way out of the stadium, but it was like the most polite yelling in the world. I was like, I think that person's from.
We were. That was in the before time.
You were off
We're
your game.
back.
Yeah.
We are back,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
If that
Because-
happens next year. That
yeah.
man's not getting out of the city alive.
He's getting stabbed. Yeah.
Because
He's
because
getting,
at
he's
that
getting the full
time,
hitch spot.
at
Yeah.
that time, the city had been subdued by and you know.
by 4 consecutive September collapses.
Well,
yes.
by Joe Girardi. Joe Girardi
Yeah.
had some
Oh,
sort of
that.
psychic hold suppressing the city's id.
Right.
And so then when Angel Hernandez is driving out in his SUV out of the parking lot, and then like the guy yelling at him, like I think he must have been a Minnesota transplant or something, because like that was the most polite like yelling at an ump that's ever taken place. Like if you're gonna go find the ump in the parking lot,
Yeah.
like you're
gotta break
just
a
gonna be
windshield or
like, we
something.
don't like you very much. Or
that was
whatever.
one.
It's
That
like,
was
come
one of the
on.
most embarrassing
yeah.
parts of the things for me as a Phillies fan this year.
Awful.
Yeah. You guys
Awful.
made up for it by maiming Mattress Mac, though. No.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I don't know. That might not have worked out for us.
Yeah.
Okay, Steven, you're up.
All right. So we briefly mentioned my spreadsheet on players to be shamed later, where I detail listed every player who was not
where
eligible
you're
to
going with
enter the nation of Canada due to their vaccination status. There was also a separate, different players to be shamed later list, a much smaller one and with a much less fanfare. But
I think funnier though.
it's probably a lot funnier.
Yeah.
And I'm specifically referencing Jason Adam, Jalen Beeks, Brooks Raley, Jeffrey Springs, and Ryan Thompson.
Yeah.
Those 5 were the Tampa Bay Rays, who on Pride Night at Tropicana Field refused to wear the Pride Night hats.
I won't wear the
and
fag
instead
hat.
took the field in the normal Rays hats, while everybody else on their team wore the rainbow ones.
So awesome.
The Rays organization was like, we want to do better for Pride this year. It's not enough to just slap a rainbow on some hideous free giveaway and let the piggies eat it up because they will, and I can confirm that we do.
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah. We are
It's
so
not
desperate
enough
for
to
anything.
do that.
Yeah.
We also need to show our support. Are we going to do that by having a queer person throughout the first pitch? Yeah, sure, but we need to go further. Are we going to do that by, including queer organizations, giving them a spotlight at the game? Yeah, sure, whatever. But what we really want to do is we want to give our players hats to wear, and we're not going to force them to do it. So that when they decide they don't want to out of religious reasons,
I won't bake a gay cake.
We
I won't wear a gay hat.
God, if they
This
had
is
forced
such
it
an-
could have gone to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Like,
This is such an
that's a
unforced
slightly different
error.
world where like Amy Coney Barrett right now is saying that players have the right to not wear the gay hat if they want
God,
to.
I
Jesus
want to
Christ.
read that fucking Samuel Alito opinion about that. God, that'd be awesome. Fucking, God, I wish that what's his name was still alive. Fucking
Scalia.
yeah, Scalia. I would
Jesus.
pay anything to read the Scalia gay hat decision. Oh,
And they did appoint one player to speak for all of the players that
Right.
didn't wear the hat.
Yeah, the ringleader.
Jason Adam, and his statement is just like,
This motherfucker
Cookie.
is named Jason Adam. What did they expect was going to happen?
mhm.
Yeah, 2 first name motherfucker.
cookie cutter, like dumb guy who doesn't understand Christianity, talking about Christianity as a way to validate his bigotry.
By
It's
the way,
just like,
2 first name thing is a gay porn star thing. So
that's true.
just wanna-
That's true.
Hmm.
So look out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't
That's
let
his
this one
career
slip by.
pivot. He's already got the name. Once he
Yeah.
Well, no, that would have happened if they actually made him wear the hat. He's
Yeah.
safe now.
Once
yeah,
the
yep.
once the Rays cut him and hang him out to dry like they do to all relievers.
yeah.
I think the dumbest part about this is, I mean, it's obviously these guys are all extremely dumb, but the dumbest part about this is that the Rays just constantly get fellatioed by the entire media about how well run their organization is, and how everybody in the front office is a genius, and it's not about the players on the field. It's about they invest all of their money in analytics and R&D and getting the most out of every single thing, and they don't have one person there who thought it would be a good idea to actually mandate the hat, and they didn't see this coming. Like that, for all of the fucking brain geniuses in that room, they didn't foresee that 5 guys would be homophobic on Pride Night.
Yeah.
Huge marketing fail. As a professional girl boss marketer, digital marketer myself, I can say that's just an embarrassing.
Yeah, it's just,
The statement itself is so incoherent, as you mentioned, Stephen, right? He's like, look, let me be clear. I support and love people from all walks of life. But
Stephen A. Smith.
It's like unreal. You couldn't script this.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad. A great selection, though. A great selection. Okay, Alex, it's our time to make our final selection. The
All right.
dumbest baseball things of 2022.
This was slightly dumb and mostly just incredibly terrifying. It gave me night terrors for days afterwards. This year, Major League Baseball hosted once again their Field of Dreams game, which I think at this point is maybe starting to get a little overplayed, but that's fine. That's a separate story. But
I thought one was overplayed.
yeah, right, exactly. In their tradition of glomming on to kind of popular trends in culture years after the fact, they decided, hey, 7th inning stretch, you know who we should get? The dead Harry Carey, a hologram of this man to sing
Forgot about that.
Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
They should have just gotten Will Ferrell to do his Harry
would've been
Carey
incredible.
impression.
Yeah.
That would have
It
been
would
great.
have been amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. And it would be completely fine with that. And Will Ferrell's very lovable. And this was like,
He's
The hologram
done.
was probably
He's done
cheaper.
baseball stunts before. Remember when he did the
Yes.
thing in spring training where he played
Yeah.
all 9 positions on 9 different teams? Yeah.
right. Like he's been there. This was like so like absolutely no one saw this beforehand and was like, maybe this is actually going to give some young children trauma for the rest of their lives,
What was like the 99th percentile outcome for this? Like, what did they think people were gonna like about it? Were they gonna be like, oh, it's nostalgia, Harry Carey?
Right. Oh, I didn't realize he was still alive.
Their best outcome was that they were like, we're gonna sell the Harry Carey hologram NFT for $2 billion.
Yes, exactly.
That's what they thought was gonna happen.
No, I suspect MLB was probably paid for it. I think the company that does these holograms
Yeah.
is like using it as kind of a form of crypto advertising for their service.
I can see that.
That makes it even dumber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
No,
this
very
is your
dumb.
like marquee event, so to speak. Your marquee regular season game for some reason is the Field of Dreams game. Tom Verducci dressing up in old timey clothes and pretending like it's 1930. But wow, just an incredibly stupid thing for them to do. The honorable mention that is most closely tied to this, I will start, and then I'll kick it around to all of you for your speed round honorable mentions. Was Fox putting up the Twin Towers 9/11 graphic?
Oh! How did I forget that?
Which
man,
I
that
had
was
the
so
exact
good.
same reaction when Alex brought this up. I can't believe that was this year.
Oh my god!
What
Oh,
someone flying over be like, look at those two beautiful pools down there. That's perfect. Yankees logo, Red Sox logo.
And what was awesome is that like it gave the people of Boston the association with 9/11 that they've always wanted, that they've always been so jealous of. They tried to make the Boston bombing into it. They tried to make everything into their own 9/11, but they finally got it.
Jane!
You're so right, though. You're so right, though.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
That's their 3-0 comeback in 2004.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, fuck. So, we're not doing playoff stuff, right?
we can do whatever we want.
Yeah,
Whatever you want.
yeah.
There are clearly not very strict rules to this.
I have things that I have kept off the list specifically because I thought we were talking about the season.
No,
Okay.
it's just the year.
I have
run through 'em.
Take a
I
swing.
have two very big playoff things.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Bobby, but I cannot let this episode go without talking about the ear game.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because that might have been that was the dumbest thing that happened in the playoffs.
When Roth was on our episode and was just like, "Oh, great, this is going to be known as the ear game forever." That was like one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Yeah.
That was the dumbest thing to happen in the playoffs until Aaron Boone's lifestyle coach or whatever the fuck he is in the locker room showed the Yankees, who were down 3-0 in the ALCS, a montage of the Red Sox coming back from that against the Yankees. That was, I think, the dumbest thing that happened in these playoffs.
You literally
So
could
funny.
not cook up a story for sports radio better than that. Like if you planted it, like if you were the CIA and you wanted to plant a story that was going to dominate New York sports radio, you could not come up with something better than that.
And I'm not
Aaron
ruling
Boone,
that as a possible explanation.
maybe is Aaron Boone a CIA plant? Like maybe he is.
Why else would he still have the job?
I'm genuinely shocked he still
Yeah.
has the job.
False
Like-
flag. It's a false flag. Okay, speed round. Jane, what's up?
3 words. Joe West podcast.
Yes.
Our collective rival.
Yeah.
He's eating into our market share.
I
know.
guarantee he probably has more listeners than both of our podcasts.
No
combined.
fucking
absolutely.
way. No way,
No,
dude.
I don't believe that for a second.
way.
No.
No one is listening to that pod.
It's
Every
a crowded
single
market
person
to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah, every single
Yes.
person that I've talked to in the baseball world just doesn't know that it exists.
Yeah.
So that
Mhm.
leads me to believe that nobody is listening to it.
Yeah.
And as someone whose job it is to produce podcasts and see the numbers and see how they grow and try to grow them, there is no way that they are growing this podcast. I have not seen it anywhere except our 2 podcasts.
Yeah.
Yes, I know no one else is talking.
And we only talked about it on a Patreon side of the thing too. So like really nobody's fucking hearing it. The like,
Yeah.
200 people or whatever
I
that's
haven't
it.
ruled out that podcast is a false flag to catch the 2 of us doing something untoward.
It might be.
Mhm.
It might
Oh,
it might
shit.
be like a trap to get
It's a
us sued.
honeypot. Yeah.
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 Just waiting for us to say something slanderous about Joe West because
Yeah.
he's very
He's
litigious.
litigious.
We know
He's
it.
Yeah,
litigious
he
as
is, he
fuck.
is, yeah.
Yeah. There's actually like a chapter in the book about the Indonesian takeover about that. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
When we do our live listen along, our long teased live listen along to Joe West's spoken word country album for the Patreon, Alex, we have to make sure that we're only fair use. Only fair use. Otherwise, Joe West will sue us out of existence. And that would be the dumbest way for this podcast to end. Is
Yes,
being
I
sued
know.
out
No,
of
I'm-
existence by Joe West.
You know, how great would that be if Twitter ended like in like a week because of Elon Musk like firing everybody, and then also we like both of our podcasts get sued out of existence by Joe West? Just like well fuck, I guess I got to
Yeah.
go to law school now.
The deep state one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Deep
it's literally Tony La Russa, it's like the Domino's meme, right? Of like Tony La Russa like pissed
Twitter.
off that someone else is impersonating him to Elon Musk absolutely destroying Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
That's honestly kind of what we just
If that happens, if Twitter dies, our podcasts get sued out of existence, I will just like move to Italy and just like prep pasta for a living. Like I will not. I'm done with the whole. I'm out of the game.
It's a blessing.
I'm
You're
getting the
finally
fuck out.
free.
You're free.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like when Michael Corleone killed that guy in the restaurant. Like, and you have to fucking flee to Italy. Yeah, there's gonna be two guys with shotguns following you around. It's gonna be fucking tight.
I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna say it was like the Goodwill Hunting speech when he's like, "Every day I walk up to your door and I hope that your podcast gets sued out of existence by Joe West."
Yeah.
Every fucking day I hope
Make
that
you
for
go live a normal life, a normal, successful, happy life instead of whatever the fuck it is we're doing here. Yeah.
Okay, Lauren, set us free. What else you got for the speed round?
God, Alex, funny you brought him up because my answer for this is just Tony La Russa in its entirety.
Mhm.
I actually, you can't see it off screen here, but I've got my big cork board with all the pictures and the red string connecting the dots here. I actually prepared a full Tony TLR timeline, a timeline of events for what happened, but I just want to focus on the one incident. It was in June. Trey Turner's at the plate in a 1-2 count, and Tony La Russa walks him.
Mm-hmm.
Max Muncy comes up and immediately crushes a 3-run homer. And as he's running around the plate, you can see Max Muncy saying, "You fucking walk him with 2 strikes. Fuck you, bitch."
Max Muncy's so cool.
Magnificent.
He did that for us. He did that for us.
Yeah.
He did that for everybody who fucking wanted to call Tony La Russa a bitch to his face.
Can I also just bring up the incident where they renamed the like cafeteria or whatever? Or was that last season?
That was the previous season. Yeah,
that was last
that was
season.
great.
I think someone chose
Very
that
funny.
last year.
Yeah,
I hope so.
picked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, no, there was the clip is so great for so many reasons. I really recommend if you haven't seen it, to go watch the clip of this. It's great for some. First off, Freddie Freeman on second base is like visibly confused about what's going on. And also, in the clip, you can clearly hear on the broadcast a guy in the fan screaming, "Tony, what are you doing? He has 2 strikes, Tony. He has 2 strikes."
I love this incident too because it made it like really showed how much Max Muncy's shit talking has become way more coherent. Because like, remember when he put one in the water against Madison Bumgarner? And he shit talked Madison Bumgarner on the way around the bases, and like that was fucking cool as hell. And he did his little bat flip thing he does where he just kind of like goes up with his hand and it just like hits the dirt. But like what he actually said to Madison Bumgarner, I don't remember the exact words, but like it didn't actually make sense.
Total
it didn't actually make any sense at all. But this one was like completely coherent and it was right there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Love him.
This incident in general is just my favorite from the season for TLR because like he had a bunch of weird fuck ups all year long. Like he let Michael Kopech like pitch when he was like visibly injured
it was like 5 miles an hour down.
He did all these like he did dumbass shit all season long, and this is the only one that's
Lurie Garcia hit third like multiple times.
He ruined like a really good team's awful season. They were a 500 club all year long because of injuries because he's just a fucking idiot. And this is the only thing that was like actually fun out of that. Everything else about the White Sox season this year was just like a slog.
Do you remember,
like,
Lauren?
misery.
Do you remember when he pinch ran because a fan told him to pinch run? Did you see that video?
Fuck!
Oh
What?
God, he's so fucking dumb. He makes me so fucking mad. I need to move on because I'm going to get way too angry about TL.
Forget
about
who was
Tony La Russa
running
again.
It was like the winning run was on second with like 1 out in like the late innings, and it was like the catcher. You know, like I don't really remember who was running and who they decided to bring in
He's
to
so
pinch
fucking
run.
dumb.
I can't wait for a
fan-
team to hire him again in like 5 years and he's like
Oh my
in
God.
hospice.
Christ.
He's so
He's
awesome.
like he's on the field in an iron lung. Yeah.
No. They just keep him at home in one of his probably many homes, and they just put his hologram in the dugout.
No,
There you
he's-
go. There you go.
He's gonna be in the fucking thing from Star Trek where it's like the burnt up guy, the Admiral Pike box.
Pike.
Yeah, where it's a beep beep. Yeah. Oh, that means walk him.
Broke robot umps.
Yeah.
Woke robot manager.
General Grievous. Fucking
Jesus.
Tony La Russa just panting. Yeah. Oh. Christ.
Robot
nightmare
managers.
shit
That's
right
Aaron
there.
Boone, bro.
Yeah.
Aaron Boone's just an analytics robot, bro.
He just does what the
whatever the
calculator
fuck
tells him to
Cashman
do.
wants, bro.
I'll hang up now, Mike. I'll let you get on with your day. Yeah. Oh, Christ.
Let me get another Diet Coke. All right, Steven. Your last speed round.
Two general ones that aren't really a singular story, but like occurred throughout the season. There's a positive and a negative. We have the Chaos Orioles. That was fucking dumb.
Yeah.
And we also have the entire AL Central.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's right there, like pointing at my like Twins thing over here. Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, that was
one of the most awful showings I've ever seen. Yeah,
Yeah. The only people in the AL Central who had any fun at all were Zach Greinke's teammates.
yeah.
Yep.
Literally, no one else had a good time this year.
The whole Orioles narrative just broke my brain so much. How it was like, wow, this team good ? Has good players, could actually compete. What the fuck is going on? And ownership's like, no.
But to be fair,
hang
to be fair, them trading Jorge Lopez to the Twins was actually a good move. Them getting rid of their closer, if you saw how he pitched to the Twins down the stretch, actually a good call. So
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, yeah, and now Trey Mancini being on the Astros and not being able to hit water if he fell out of a boat, but still actually making a beautiful play at first to save the game the other day.
Orioles legend for going 114. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that the dumbest part of the Orioles season is just Mike Elias trying his hardest to fucking lose. Like this is truly the culmination of
it's
like
the
Astro
Major
Ball.
League.
Yeah.
It's just like
Of like Astro Ball tanking culture, like all of this like disguising saving money and these like analytics and these like reasonable rebuilds with the team control and all these players. Like your team is now good. You're good. You're good enough to fight for a wild card spot. And all you have to do is make a couple fringe moves. And what you do is try to make your team worse at the deadline. Like that is so brain poisoned. It is so, if you went back 30 years and told someone that someone was going to be doing this and it was going to be widely accepted in the baseball community as quote unquote the right move, they'd all be like, just fucking fold the league then. When the strike happens, just don't bring the league back then. Like, because it's so stupid. Mike Elias is dumb. He's the dumbest thing of baseball in 2022.
I mean, meanwhile, the owners of the Orioles are just suing each other.
Right.
The two Angelos kids
That's
are
also
just like
awesome.
taking
That's
each other
really
to
dumb,
court.
too. Yeah.
That's so good. I cannot wait for Discovery on that lawsuit. Like, God, that is going to be such a good pod.
No, I got Westlaw booted up already. I'm waiting.
I
It's
got,
going to be
my
fucking
dinner report is
awesome.
set up and ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Google Alerts set up for like Angelos lawsuit.
Yeah. That said, I had so much fucking fun in like going to like the last couple Orioles games of the season and seeing like Felix Bautista come out against the Blue Jays and give up the lead.
Yeah.
In the 11th inning. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Okay, our final speed rounds. We have a couple things left. Alex, one of ours is another tanking team right now, and he kicked off this season right. I would say he set the tone for the season. Do you want to do the honors?
Sure. And, you know, I actually think, I mean, it was dumb. It was also really instructive. And I'm really glad he did this. And that's one Phil Castellini.
This was on my list too. I'm glad you got this.
Yes, the son of Reds owner Bob Castellini,
Right.
who came out and said in a radio interview, when asked about the state of the team, he said, addressing the Reds fans, well, where are you going to go? Sell the team to who? That's the other thing. You want to have this debate?
Yeah.
What would you do with this team to have it more profitable, make more money, compete in the current economic system that this game exists? It would be pick it up and move it somewhere else.
We got you by the
what you
nabs,
ask
everyone.
for.
Yeah.
Jesus. Careful what you ask
Wait,
for.
you left something out. It wasn't just Phil Castellini. It was Phil Castellini and his giant pile of cocaine that was next to him during his radio
exactly.
interview.
What did
just
what did
sweating
happen?
ecstasy.
What did happen with the Reds attendance? Does anyone know?
I don't know. I never circled back.
No,
Certainly
no.
Sounds
Was it good? Did that help?
What happened with the whole economic system of baseball? Did anybody see Rob Manfred give a revenue quote last week?
No,
What was it?
no.
11?
Oh, yeah. I did see that.
Million? 11? $11 billion? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
Phil Castellini,
Love
thank
it.
you.
Ugh.
Honestly, I just want to say we need more owners threatening fans.
Right.
Because
Yes.
because most owners are too PR'd the fuck up.
Gloves off.
They just say they're like milquetoast, like, it's like, well, we need to be competitive like now and in the future.
We love
we're
this
balancing
community.
financial
We're trying to-
incentive.
Yeah.
Phil Castellini said, "Fuck you. What are you going to do?"
Yeah.
Every single major league owner,
Mask
with maybe
off.
one or two exceptions, would be acting exactly like Elon Musk on Twitter if they were given like unfiltered access. To,
Like
to
I
the
loved
public.
it. I loved it a couple years ago when Dolan was like, "Hey, enjoy Francisco Lindor while we got him. He ain't coming back. Just letting you know." Like, yeah, I wish
Honesty.
they'd all
I
just
don't
talk
know.
like that.
I liked when the reporter caught John Middleton telling Bryce Harper that he underpaid him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, the Phil Castellini thing gave us so much. It set the tone for the entire year. It
Mhm.
also gave the Tipping Pitches podcast dozens of listeners submitted
Yeah, you guys got songs
about Phil Castellini
Fuck.
and his
That
carrot
rocked.
empire.
He's got carrots and lettuce and mushrooms porcini. The vegetable king, Bob Castellini.
That's the power. That's the power of community, right there, baby.
Absolutely.
That's the power. Yeah.
I'm
Jane,
gonna,
Lauren, why aren't we mining our listener base for shit like that?
you know what? We just got like an influx of like 150 more people into our Discord yesterday.
Yeah, we
I'm
did.
sure some of them would make us a song. We got to find someone to make us a song. Shit.
Okay, my final speed round, and then I'll let anybody else if you have anything on your list that you'd love to share. But my final speed round is that the Colorado Rockies were the only team at the Major League Baseball trade deadline not to trade a player away from their team or
That's
to acquire a
awesome.
player.
That
The
fucking
one
rules.
team
They
that
believe in
should
themselves.
be
It's beautiful.
trading
Yeah.
a couple of their relievers, a couple of their good position players, a couple bats to get better in the future. No, Dick Monfort was like, no, we're a family here.
Yeah,
we're
here's
keeping the
a
exact
dumb one.
roster exactly the same.
Here's something dumb. Chris Bryant signing with the Rockies.
Yeah.
I mean, him signing with it wasn't dumb. Them giving him the contract was dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that Chris Bryant is just doubling down. He's like, you know what? I feel like I was happier than I would have been on some of these other teams that were coming after me. He's like,
Incredible.
I don't give a
Yeah,
fuck about
Fred-
baseball.
Good for
pressure's
him,
off.
honestly.
Yeah.
Dude got
Colorado's
his bag
gorgeous.
and
Yeah, I'm sure he loves it there.
He was a part of one of the most like dramatic World Series of like the past century. So
Yeah.
like
He's
he
got
can
nothing
kick
to
his
prove.
feet up.
Yeah.
Nothing to prove. And he has nothing
Yeah.
to prove it with either because he's actually not that good at baseball anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else to wrap it up here?
Okay, just really quick here. Everyone complaining about how the playoffs didn't just crown the Dodgers is really dumb, but also the Phillies making World Series is incredibly dumb.
You
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
I was saving it for last. The Phillies making the playoffs solely because of the universal DH, which started this year.
Yeah.
On
And the extended
in the
playoffs.
final
Mhm.
in the final weekend of the season, the last team to qualify, the lowest seed, are the only team that have won a game against the Astros in the postseason.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I think that's a good one to end on because it really highlights that the dumbness is part of the beauty. The dumbness is part of why
Exactly.
we watch.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
They broke the single game home run record by a team in the World Series,
Yeah.
and that the next night failed to record a hit.
and the more dumbness you can get on your team, right? The better you are. The more
Absolutely.
insulated you are to whatever the pressures of the outside. Like they just have a bunch of golden retrievers on the squad, and they made it all this
a bunch
way.
of
Schwarber's
himbos.
like, I don't think about this at all. And Nick Castellanos is just like, he thinks about everything but baseball while he's playing baseball.
Right, exactly.
So like, yeah, it's great.
He's, I don't think, therefore I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to need to do an extensive deep dive in the offseason into the powerful homoeroticism emanating from that locker room.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
And
We
then
need to do that. That's our beat. You guys
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
that.
that's our beat, not yours.
No, it's all you. We're clearing out. We're setting a pick. We're setting a pick. You're getting the open shot on that one.
Yeah, the tipping pitches, the gay baseball podcast. That's them. Yeah.
Jane, Lauren, Stephen, it's always our distinct pleasure to have you here, and this is one of our favorite episodes to do. Even though we've only done it twice, it's our favorite of the year every time. I look forward to doing it for years to come. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys. This was awesome.
Thank you very much.
And there's so much shit we didn't even touch on.
I know.
We could do this for another 4 hours.
We really could.
Like the Queen Elizabeth tributes.
Like Freddie Freeman went to Atlanta and fucking cried on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't even
Freddie
talk
Freeman
about that.
texting his teammates being like, sorry, I said that I didn't want to be on the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Or the Padres trading Eric Hosmer to the Nationals without telling him and then having
So
to
many
swap
fucking
him with
things.
Luke Voigt.
Yeah. Despite
So
a no
good.
trade clause.
There was like the whole like Tommy Pham,
Yep.
like Jock
Yep.
Peterson
Yep.
fucking
How did we not
thing.
talk about
I'm like,
that?
ugh.
Yeah.
That like
Yeah.
just the shelf life of that story like aged just like fucking fine milk, man.
Mm.
How did we not talk
It
about
was
the
over
slap?
memes. Memes over fantasy football. I can't.
And Jock Peterson just being like, I don't know what the fuck is his deal. Like, it's fucking weird.
Oh God.
The perfect
And then
guy to
Mike
be on the
Trout
other end
getting
of that.
dragged into it.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
because he was the commissioner.
I think this year definitely was dumber than last year now because
Yeah.
we literally cannot stop talking.
Yeah. I think so.
An all-timer.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Thank you all so much for joining us. Everybody go
Thank
listen to
you.
Batting Around. If you're listening this late in the podcast and you've listened through all of these dumb things, you probably know about Batting Around. If you're not subscribed, if you haven't checked out their Patreon, please go do it. They're wonderful. It's a wonderful
Oh,
podcast. It's
also,
our fave.
I think by the time this comes out, I'll have been on an episode of Street Fight Radio.
Hell
I'll
yeah.
be co-host an episode of that, so look out for that too.
Check that out as well. Links in the description. All of that good stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you to Lauren Walker, Jane Ost, and Stephen Hesson of Batting Around. Sorry to our good friend Stephen for his Philadelphia Phillies not being able to pull it out in the end, but you know what? He'll always have these pods every year, no matter where the Phillies finish, no matter how many wins. We're just going to keep doing this until we can't do it no more, until Joe West sues us out of existence.
Yeah, so I hope he's doing all right. He suggested that he was pretty zen about it all when we recorded. I'd love to check in with him now.
I mentioned this last week, Alex, but next week we are going to have an interview with the directors of the documentary The Last Out, the 2020 documentary The Last Out, which is now finally widely available on streaming platforms. So we already did that great conversation with Michael Gasser and Sammy Kahn, the two filmmakers behind that documentary. And we're really excited for people to get to listen to it, but just wanted to mention at the end of this pod here, because it will be coming out in a week from now. So we wanted to give people time to go and watch the doc before the episode next week. You can find it wherever you stream movies. It's really a wonderful documentary about 3 Cuban baseball players trying to defect and make it to the United States and sign with a major league team. Hopefully we'll be talking even more about the international free agent market and just the state of international signings. And but I think this is a good first step because this documentary was really eye-opening and really wonderful. So again, The Last Out, go check it out before you listen to next week's episode.
Yes, co-signed all of that. Also, in case you missed it, new merch, baby.
That's right.
The season is over, but the merch season's just beginning. So we got some dope new nationalized baseball swag that you can find in our store, tippingpitches.myshopify.com or tiny.cc/nationalize.
And not just shirts either. Sweatshirts, new stickers, really exciting stuff. So if you have a leftist baseball fan in your life and you'd like to get them something for the holiday season, tippingpitches.myshopify.com is the place to go.
Yeah.
The special podcast listener promo code for this round of merch is Rob, R-O-B, Rob. You know why? Because we're about to spend the next few months talking about stuff that he says, most likely. And if you're a patron, you will also get a message with a separate promo code for a little bit extra off. So I don't think there's anything else to add for people, is there?
No, I don't think so. But if you did enjoy this episode, definitely go check out Batting Around.
Yes.
They're wonderful and similar minds.
Yes.
Similar content. So if you like tipping pitches, I know you're gonna like Batting Around. So go check them out.
Yes, you can find Batting Around wherever you get your pods. Batting Around, no G, on Twitter. Patreon.com/batting around with the G. You'll be able to find all that stuff in the description of this pod too. Thank you everybody for listening, and we'll be back next week with our interview of the directors of The Last Out.
Hello everybody, I'm Alex Rodriguez. Tipping Pitches.
Tipping pitches.
This is the one that I love the most.
Tipping pitches.
So we'll see you next week. See ya!